Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Going Dark podcast. We are guessing that it is episode 48, and we are back. COD is back.
We are.
We are back.
COD is back.
Kind
It's
of.
been a while, guys. Listen, I don't know if you've been getting a lot of comments on your personal channel or like live streams or whatever you do. Listen, we hear you guys. People have been asking a lot about like, yo, when's the next Going Dark? We haven't done one. I feel like, and maybe you can tell me from your perspective, but I think it's a mix between like us focusing on our own personal content, but also it's like when COD is in this state, it's difficult to want to get on here and like do a podcast all the time, you know?
Yeah, two things. I think you're right. We're both adjusting maybe content strategies, and my brain has been all over that. And then you're right. Like, you just get on the internet and everybody's ripping COD. Everybody's loving every other game besides COD, and games on sale for $35. You go, oh,
Yeah.
what am I going to
Yeah.
get on here and talk about that's going to convince somebody else otherwise, you know?
Yeah. But I think given how much time has passed, I mean, last time we did a podcast, BO7 wasn't out. So I was like, I was telling you before we started, like that. There's a lot to catch up on as far
Yes.
as what's happened and what COD has done and what we feel about everything. So it should be interesting because I mean, I don't know where you want to start with this. I don't know if you want to talk about like
I mean, let's just
there,
start with the tweet yesterday. You played campaign for the first. I think we just go right at that.
okay. Yeah, I mean that actually leads nicely into campaign. So typically the way that I normally operate, or at least have for the past few years, is when a new COD game drops, I will like really hyper focus on zombies for a very long time, couple months, where like maybe I hadn't even touched multiplayer outside of a couple games here and there. And then I usually save the campaign for like January or February when content slows down and I got a bit more time to like really digest something.
Uh-huh.
But given how infamous the BO7 campaign
Yeah.
ended up being and what I heard, I was like, all right, I got to check this out.
Yeah.
So yesterday I played it, and I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm not exaggerating. I legitimately give it a 0 out of 10 score.
Hmm.
And I think, a lot of people were comparing it to Modern Warfare 3's campaign recently. That was also pretty bad. But the thing is, I give Modern Warfare 3's campaign maybe like a 2 out of 10.
Yeah.
And do you want to know why I give that a couple more points than BO7's campaign?
I mean,
Do you have any guesses of what you think I might be getting at?
I mean, the boss fight maybe, or just like it actually felt, at least you were shooting like other soldiers.
I mean, that is part of it. That's something I'll talk about maybe when we get into more detail. But the big thing why I give Modern Warfare 3 even a higher rating than BO7's campaign is because it at least was short, dude. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, it was 3 hours and it sucked, but hey, it was over quick, right?
That's true.
It was, you didn't have to suffer too long. This campaign is really bad, but it's so bloated as well. Like,
How long did
you
it
know,
end up being?
man, it took me like, I mean, watching cutscenes and all that and like, not skipping anything. I want to say, I mean, I could add up my recordings, but I don't know. I want to say it was around like 5 hours, maybe
Yeah.
6 hours.
Yeah.
Teetering on that. But I also played it solo, which is another issue. But yeah, it was a lot longer than MW3, and it was so much worse as well. So I legitimately have to give it a 0 out of 10.
Yeah.
Which
I can't remember what I rated it when I did my review. I think I was in the same ballpark. I think I said 1, just to be like, I gotta give it some
1.
sort of score.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to, but and I had some people, when I tweeted that, not granted, not a lot, but some people push back and are like, well, like who even plays COD campaigns anymore, right? Nobody cares about that.
I hate
and
that
like to a
argument.
certain extent, sure, I can understand that viewpoint that maybe not everybody plays campaign, but at the same time, I imagine you would probably agree with this, that the campaign is really what gives intentionality to everything else in the game.
Exactly.
It is what it's what grounds the game fundamentally. And I think giving like the campaign being the reason for certain things existing, whether or not you care about the campaign or not, is irrelevant to the fact that it does like help set the tone for the game. Like, you don't even have to play the BO1 campaign to know that like the numbers are iconic and why that stuff happens. It's like It's because it's part of the story. It's part of the campaign. You don't have to care about it necessarily, but the things that are byproducts is what you do care about. Anyways, the campaign grounds the game, but I have never played a more disrespectful
Oh,
campaign. Utterly disrespectful.
yes.
Utterly
That's a good word
parody
to
of
put.
itself.
That's a good word to describe that campaign.
It is. I don't even know if parody of Black Ops cuts it really. I mean, you quit after what, the first mission, first hour?
I did the first hour, so I beat Menendez, and then I think I beat Woods.
Okay.
As a flower, mind you.
Yep. The
I'm
big
like,
Stranger
I think I'm
Things
good.
creature. Yeah.
Yeah.
When Woods becomes Stranger Things, yeah. So you that's still pretty early in the game, which is concerning.
Which
but
that's sad because I felt like I had been playing for 25 minutes, like I like 25-minute game time, and I was like, have I been playing like 2-3 hours? And it's like, no, I have not.
Yeah, it's it only gets more disrespectful from there, and I think that I had this suspicion that it was going to be a mess, but the Black Ops 6 campaign in a way gave me some hope because even though it was made by Raven, like I thought the story was just trash in BO6. It's not good. It's again, they don't get Black Ops. They don't get what Black Ops is. They understand Woods, Mason, whatever. The literal characters, sure, but they don't get the spirit of it. This game, I was at least optimistic in the sense that maybe they'll get the gameplay right because the gameplay in BO6 was pretty solid, actually, I thought. It had some interesting things, but bro, when I loaded up that campaign and you see the HUD, you see weapon rarities, you see no friendly NPCs,
plates again,
armor plates, enemies having names and health bars. Why am I fighting a zombie that says unknown entity with a health bar? Like, why?
That's got me thinking about something real quick. It really is the case of when people say the games feel so similar. I totally agree because, like, it's just the small things. Like you said, that armor plates being in the game, and then the armor plates carry over to zombies, and they carry over to Endgame, and they carry over to Warzone. It's like, I feel like back in the day, the mechanics didn't transfer like that. Like BO1 zombies did not feel like you were playing a campaign mission. And then the campaign did not feel like you were playing multiplayer, but somehow they all felt interconnected where they were like you knew they were in the same, like, I guess, story.
They were homogenous enough to where like it wasn't jarring to go from BO1 multiplayer to zombies, but they were all so different enough that they curated this experience like specifically for that kind of player, which is the complete opposite approach to what they do now.
Yeah.
Where I'm playing campaign, and again, the whole time I had in the back of my mind, I'm like, this is just a demo for their end game mode. Yeah. This is literally just a glorified, way in the door for that mode, which by the way is funny because originally, for like, I don't know, the first week, you had to beat the campaign to get to endgame. But because of probably the abysmally low player numbers that are actually not only tolerating but beating that campaign was so low that endgame was probably dead as hell that they just had to open up endgame to everybody regardless if you play the campaign. So this whole like demo of it is irrelevant if they just give everyone the game because nobody's playing it. But that should also be a symptom of, hey, if you made a campaign that was actually really good and that people wanted to play through at least once, then there would be no problem because it would be an inherently rewarding experience. I think not only is the story and the campaign disrespectful to the Black Ops legacy, utterly, I mean, there's no other word for it, utterly disrespectful, a parody of itself, and does nothing to advance the Black Ops universe in a way that's interesting. Nothing. Not at all. In fact, it just makes Black Ops 2 like, okay, so real quick story. This is related to what I'm saying, but I've been showing my girlfriend the original Black Ops games. Like I've been playing the campaigns for her.
Right.
And we're in BO2 right now. And I'm like, BO2 is like my favorite campaign.
Yeah.
I like the other ones for different reasons, but BO2 is my favorite, and I think it really holds up. I'm playing it even now, and I'm playing it. I'm like, damn, like this is solid.
Yeah.
Like it's a solid story, solid execution. I told her, I'm like, I'm too embarrassed to show you BO7.
Oh,
Like we're gonna stop at Black Ops 3, but I'm like, I can't show you. I would be ashamed to show you BO7. It is not something that it makes me embarrassed to be a Black Ops fan.
but see, to me, it's just it's not even at this point. I would like, you know how they say like always like retcon stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
I'd love to see them get rid of the Black Ops title. I think
Yes,
part of
yes,
the part
yes,
of the
yeah.
negativity around this game is that it is a Black Ops title, and not even
100%.
not even the back to back. You're marketing this thing as a Black Ops 2 sequel. That has a lot of weight to it. You don't
Yeah.
just say that casually and
Yep.
have an awful campaign and have a multiplayer that doesn't really feel like a it just doesn't feel like because the part of the problem is too, and I know this is like very nerdy, but it's like you guys never pick the lane for these Call of Duty. So it's like, okay, Black Ops 2, and then we get Black Ops 3, there's jetpacks, but that's technically not a sequel now. And then you get BO4, that's a little bit past BO2, and they're just sliding, and there's grapples. But then BO7 is a different one, and there's no grapples in this game.
Yep.
It's like, where are we at in terms of timeline? There's just no. They just
That was
don't
the other
care.
problem I was going to tell you was that
Yeah.
they're so boxed in by the Black Ops timeline now. This is a
Yes.
problem that I literally brought up to them at Treyarch actually, but it's what you said is true. Where it's so convoluted now. You have like Black Ops 1,
Like, get out of
then
there.
in between that is like Black Ops Cold War, BO2, BO7, BO4, BO3. It's like it is too messy right now.
Yeah.
And yes, adding or saying that it is also a Black Ops title has so much weight. There's a lot
Pressure.
of impact that comes with
Yes.
a lot of pressure by invoking that name. It's
Yep.
like it's you have to be very careful about how you invoke that name, but they carelessly said, "Oh, this is a BO2 spiritual successor." Why?
Yeah.
Because we know everyone loves BO2 and make a lot of money, right? Let's just I don't know, let's just do BO2. It just I get why they did it. It's like, "Oh, here's this gap in like the Black Ops timeline that we could fill in with something." But they did not know how to approach it in any kind of respectful or meaningful way at all. I mean, dude, you didn't get this far in the campaign, but I'm like, I literally rolled my eyes when that mission where you're when Samuels is in your team and the guy from that one random guy from BO2, where the LA mission, right, where you got to protect the president.
Yeah.
The Samuels guy, he's like looking in the air, he's got his gun and whatnot. He's just a side character in this story, right? It doesn't matter. They have to go through like his whole backstory.
Yeah.
What Samuels? What's his story? It's like, do we need
We
to
don't
do
even
this?
care.
No, we don't.
We don't care.
They just invoked that imagery because it was something and you didn't get this far in the campaign, but this is I found myself legitimately like busting out laughing at certain moments.
That's never good.
It's never good. There's a moment where you're playing as David Mason. Obviously, you go to the house where they grew up. Do you remember in BO2, in the beginning when they're showing that moment of like, what's up?
In the tree?
Yeah. Where
Okay.
he's climbing the tree and he falls down and so they invoke that moment again. They show like this memory being played out and they
Why do I feel like
play
I got
the
to that?
audio.
I must have watched somebody get to that.
Maybe you saw it or
'Cause
something,
it kept
but anyways.
repeating.
Yeah. Well, you go to like 3 different memories, and one of them
Okay,
is
okay.
where he's climbing the tree, and you just hear the dialogue, but it's like, David climbing the tree. He's like, I don't think I can do it. And the whole time, Alex in the dialogue is going, he's being really supportive. You can do it, son. Just push a little, climb the tree. He's being a very supportive father.
Yeah.
But I'm like, that's not what happened in BO2. Like Alex tells him to quit being like a piss baby.
Yeah.
Like
totally
he's,
different.
Totally different tone, totally different vibe. They like rewrite Alex Mason to be like a more understanding and like empathetic father when he isn't. And I don't know. And but also,
I was gonna say
Sorry,
that
go
just show. I was just gonna say that just feels like, and when people have these points and somebody says, they don't know the source material. They don't know what they're doing. You go, how do you argue with it?
Yeah, yeah. But the other thing is though, and this is like what just pushed me over the edge with that whole situation is that mission. They're playing these memories that you're like watching, and David's going through these, but you can't even like enjoy the sentiment of it.
Yeah.
Because the whole time you have to shoot zombies.
I was gonna say I saw that, or I didn't play it, but I saw somebody get to that point, and I remember you talking about it. It's like refreshing my memory. Yeah. I why are there
Oh my
zombies in the
God,
campaign?
man.
I mean, it was the same thing with the woods thing. You're shooting woods,
Sure.
and then you're dodging zombies as you're shooting a plant version of woods. And I think
Now look, I get adding zombies in the context of, oh, like in Cold War, right? It's right near the end of that I'm not saying the Cold War campaign is perfect. I like it in comparison to some other wars, but it's not my favorite still. But that moment where it's like near the end of the game, when like you're going through all the red doors and stuff, like you can fall into that moment where you're in this dark cave and all of a sudden zombies swarm. It's unexpected. That works, and it's short and sweet. This whole campaign, it felt like a zombies map.
It was the same thing with Black Ops 6. There was that whole mission where you were fighting zombies the whole time. It was that entire zombies mission.
Even then, they showed restraint because it's one mission.
That's true. It was
This
a 45-minute mission.
Practically the whole game. Yeah, it was long. Fair enough. But this was like the whole game. Yeah. And even in moments where like it should slow down, it should like focus on the narrative that's being told, you can't even like fully immerse yourself in that because number one, the HUD sucks. I have a screenshot. Oh my God, I might have to pull it up, man, and show you. I have a screenshot from the campaign I was playing, but the amount of crap on screen, it was genuinely comical. But you can't even enjoy these moments because the whole time it's like brain rot. You have to be shooting zombies. And it's like, oh my goodness,
well, can I also say something about?
Yeah, of course.
Listen, this is going to be a hot take, but I actually don't care because I'm going to say it, and I'm not meaning it.
Please.
I'm not meaning it for games to use this in the future, but ChatGPT could have made a better story than what we got. Like, please make me a Black Ops 2 sequel for our next title. It would have been a better it would have been a better story campaign. It might have been better than the last 3 campaigns combined. Like
I don't know if I would agree with that entirely because it seems like this is in some sense what it would make.
This might have been ChatGPT is what you're saying?
Yeah, like if we're oh my God, I'm just scrolling through some of my footage right now and holy moly,
they prompted that thing way wrong then. They typed in they must have missed the mark a little bit.
No kidding. No kidding. It is I'm about to find this screenshot here, but it is comical the amount of stuff. But I'm like, what happened to immersion? What happened to like a story that like, dude, play the BO1 campaign. Other than the your weapon, ammunition, and like your grenades, there's like no HUD at all.
Yeah.
Because it's meant to be immersive. This whole time I'm shooting, zombies in this campaign. I'm getting weapon level ups, prestige 4, level 19. I'm like, we gotta stop. We gotta stop.
I mean, that's a big thing too. I think you might have saw Hunter's tweet. Maybe you did. I think he was making fun of that. He was like, when you do some cool moment, or no, if Black Ops 2 was like Black Ops 7, I think that was what the clip he did. But somebody go check it out if you guys. He's Hunter on TV, Hunter TV on Twitter. I think he had like a Black Ops 2 moment and like something was happening, and then the prestige icon and loud noise came on the screen, and it just it was super funny. I think it had like a million upvotes. It was crazy.
I'm gonna show you a screenshot. I don't know if you can like pull it up and show it on the podcast, or like you can just roll it like on your OBS screen. But if you could show this,
can you?
This is a real campaign screenshot.
Let me see.
This is actually insane.
I might be able to pull it up this way. Hang on.
Yeah, I just had to get a little screen grab because that is a moment that made me laugh very hard. I haven't laughed like that in a long time. But it also like at the end of it all, dude, when I beat it, yeah, it's funny to make fun of and it's a really bad campaign, but I think I mostly just felt sad. Like I think I mostly felt sad because I'm like, how did we get here? You know what I mean? Like, this is Black Ops now.
There's
what
just
happened?
Because here's the crazy thing, minus the crap on the screen, I don't hate the HUD this year. Like,
No, the HUD's fine for like multiplayer. Absolutely, I agree.
yeah, but it's like when there should be no HUD in campaign. Am I
Correct.
wrong? Like,
I completely agree. It's that immersion thing.
and then zombies, I've told you that since we've been doing the podcast. You literally, I mean, it takes me out of it right away. When I see plates, when I see all that crap, I'm just like, nah, I'm good. And so it's just, I don't know. I don't know. You said it best. You say it every time we talk about this. When you're, what's the quote you say? Like master of none or something like that. What's the quote?
Oh, in regards to like in regards to
Like they're not good at anything. They're trying to be good at like they're trying to be
Oh,
mid
yeah,
at
yeah, yeah, yeah.
everything, and they're
it's
bad
like
at everything.
it's like if you try to make a game for everyone, you end up making a game for no one.
Yeah.
Like I look at that campaign, I'm like, who is this for? It's not for me. It's not for, okay, here's the problem. It's not for me because, you know, somebody who loves the Black Ops older games, the legacy of them, I'm very attached obviously to this IP, but given how this was handled, it's not for somebody who likes old Black Ops. I don't even think it's for like new gen enjoyers. Like, bro, I don't know. 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds today don't know who Reznov
I've
is.
said that. The pre-order, what was it? Was it Black Ops 7 pre-order?
Yeah, they had the Reznov Challenger pack that they walked back and appears nowhere in the game anymore.
Nobody cares. Like even my cousin, who's 8 years younger than me, doesn't care about that. Like, and then they're trying to appease, and this game's trying to appease to 18-year-olds, probably, maybe less than that. I have a theory, and we'll get into it in a second. Actually, not a theory, an idea, but
yeah, we can wrap up talking about the campaign because it's I'm gonna be writing about it later because I'm making a video because I'm fired up.
Yeah, please do.
But the ending of the campaign is uneventful in the sense that, again, nothing ever happens. If you haven't noticed, for the last 5 years, nothing ever happens in any of these campaigns, because they can't, because there's so much other stuff. There's so much other scaffolding that supports the Call of Duty ecosystem that they can't do anything. But the conclusion that I came to is that, like, really, this campaign more than anything tells me that it is time to retire Black Ops.
Oh my gosh.
It has been, but it really is with this one.
Yeah.
There's no other way for them to go. It's time to retire it. It's done. Like, I was sad at the end because it seems that it hurts the legacy now attached to Black Ops 2, where it is revered by, I'm sure me and you and a lot of other of the community of being literally one of the best Call of Duty games ever.
Yep.
And then now you have this, spiritual successor of the game that is not that at all. And it is over. It's like, to me, I think Raven, or whoever's responsible for making this abomination, looked at the BO3 campaign and went, dude, wouldn't it be so crazy if we made like crazy visuals and crazy zombies?
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, BO3 was weird, but it was weird with a purpose, where this is like overindulgent slop.
That's a great, I mean, slop is the definition of it. Big time.
Yeah.
I can't believe that they released, I still cannot believe that they released that. And that's the problem too with Call of Duty lately is every single year, there's just one thing in every game that I'm like, I can't believe they did that. Like, I can't believe they did that. This is the campaign. Last year was the maps, the skins. It's like, I can't believe the
collabs.
I can't believe they did that. Modern Warfare 3 at the time was the campaign mixed to me with the zombies. I'm like, what is that? And then MW2, it was like the entire thought process behind the game. It was slow, and it took what MW19 did great and it reversed it. Yeah, and it's like, and then Vanguard, it's like World War II shooter, but the game's nothing like that. It's laser beams with Snoop Dogg. And it's like, you go back, and truthfully, I said this in a video on my own channel. I was like, the last Call of Duty was either MW19 or Cold War that I think people loved. Like if you ask any Call of Duty fan out there, and I'm like, what out of the last whatever many Call of Duties, what would you say was your favorite one? Most of them are going to say MW19, I think personally. And then there's going to be the other arcadey style people that say Cold War. And
sure,
I don't know how you argue with it, because there's just, after Cold War, they just started doing weird stuff every year. There was something very weird. And then when you get very weird on top of fatigue, it's just it's the worst.
It's also worth mentioning that after Cold War was the last game of that Treyarch was using their own engine before they all got on this like
this new
COD proprietary engine, right?
That was one of the biggest mistakes they've ever made. I don't.
I said that from the beginning, bro, and you and I know this, that it's oh my god, and that actually leads us into the. You want to talk about the COD apology?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, please. I mean, go ahead.
I want to pull it up actually because I want to have it word for word. Do you have it on hand? Let me look for it.
I could probably get it up real quick.
Looking for it right now.
Call of Duty blog.
The reason why I think it's a good segue into that, I found it, is because they say in this thing about how important it is to deliver a unique experience, right?
Yeah.
And again, you and I said this, that like so much of that uniqueness was when teams are actually more separate, when they're doing their own thing, when they're working on their own engines. And last thing I'll say about the campaign is that I think when I looked at when the credits rolled and the amount of studios
I was going to say that
credited in the campaign, there was legitimately, I think, 12 of them.
Yes.
And I'm like, you cannot, and you cannot have somebody's like singular vision rise to the top to make something really truly special when you have that many people putting their hands in the pot. Also, not to mention, another big hindrance is so many of the potentially cool moments in the BO7 campaign are again done over in the dramatic slop cinematic cutscenes, which I am so sick of. And I know this for a fact that they outsourced them to this like other company that isn't Raven even. I don't know what they're called. There's some.
Was that the High Noon Shanghai was in there?
I don't even think it's them. I think it's like a company that does like video game cinematics, but they're just like a completely, third party company.
Yeah.
I think they make all the COD cinematics and stuff. And again, cinematics every now and again in the right context are not bad, but they use them as crutches now because they're probably easy to produce and like, they can just crank them out and avoid having to make any actual interesting gameplay sequences.
Yeah.
So it's like if we're talking about like change and there's one big thing that's really got to change with COD campaigns, it's structure. Yeah. And it's their over reliance on these boring ass cinematics that the story also continues to get told through Warzone and the seasons. We need to quit that. Apparently, Kagan dies in the season 1 cutscene.
Yeah, that 100%. I did a video on that. I said that shows you what happened, because she was actually, to me, I don't know. I just think that we could talk about the campaign for an entire episode, but like I think back to the marketing of this game and how cool that trailer was, and learning about this girl that was like, did some sort of AI, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, this is going to be awesome. And then to find out the campaign was awful, and then now they're getting rid of everything in one season. It's just like, okay, well, never mind.
Yeah, and it's like two things. Number one, you're right. That initial reveal trailer that we saw was really good, and it's not in the game.
Yeah.
None of that is in the game. That whole like butterfly thing, that goes in the screen, and that's not in the game. Kagan, like, potentially like how she rose to, become in this position of power and like what she really intends on doing with it. Shallow as hell. Like it's not even really a factor. And then she just dies in season 1. But the other thing is like, okay, you're presenting me the campaign as this package. I'm going to judge it as that package. I don't care what happens in the story in the rest of the seasons because it's not part of the campaign as experienced by a player. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, You have to go out of your way to watch that stuff. When in the campaign, it is like hopefully
I skip it.
intentionally
Sometimes
included.
I just skip it if I don't like especially now.
Yeah, of course.
I skipped Black Ops 7 cutscene. Didn't even care what was on that. Knew I would see it on Twitter. Like, don't care. And then I realized that I skipped a cutscene where the girl dies, and I'm like, okay, well.
But it's like, I'm gonna judge your campaign based on how it's presented to me as a campaign.
Yeah.
And like, I don't care if Kagan dies in the season 1 cutscene. Like, that is not really a factor to me because the campaig's over. So
yeah.
And again, in terms of restructuring, that's got to change for sure. But anyways,
I mean, and Ghost of Hope tweeted this the other day, and I think Charlie Intel came out and said like Microsoft called them or Xbox Call of Duty called him and said that what he said it was not true. I don't know. Like that's what he tweeted out, I think. So
is what you're talking about where
yeah, the studio thing. So Hope tweeted out the shakeup could be where studios are getting merged, and then the other one was monetization changes, which
they said is not accurate.
They said is not accurate, but I don't know about you. I feel like when statements come out that quick, it's just like
it sounds like kind of cope.
Well, it's just like they're trying to get on top of it, so it's like we got to shut that down.
Sure.
So, that conversation came up somewhere. Hope doesn't just, in my opinion, doesn't just tweet out that. I mean, I think he's been a pretty well-known leaker, and I think he's obviously got sources on the inside. So it's been brought up. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it had to have been brought up.
I mean, it's maybe not as dramatic as we're sounding, but there's no way they don't like make some changes after what happened. There's no way.
You have to. We talked about this off the podcast. If they don't make changes, this franchise will be Halo soon. Like sooner than I even thought in my head. Like I thought COD, I always felt COD would have a time where it really struggled and maybe just it fell to, not Halo levels, but fell to like, hey, COD was massive back in the day, but now it's what it is.
Maybe it's getting there. And what you said last podcast is like COD is a nostalgia brand now.
And they got to get away from that. It's like, and even the MW4 discussions, which we haven't talked about, it's like, what are we doing? We're mimicking MW2. I had a point I was going to make about something else, but I can't remember what it was. It's just there's almost so much to talk about. You don't know where to start because I think with Black Ops 7 it's just sad because I think right now I don't know if they could do anything right. I think again you've lost so much trust. The SBMM thing, people think it's a rug pull. I don't necessarily think it's a rug pull. But,
yeah, I don't either.
But I also don't know what percentages that they're talking about. Like, I said this in a video where, okay, skill is minimally considered. What does that even mean? What define minimal? Yeah, what is percent? It could be. It's different for everybody. Somebody that's really bad, their skill minimally considered is a lot lower. And then somebody like you go watch Scump and all that at the race. Holy moly, their lobbies are a different animal because skill minimally considered could be Scump is way up here. So his skill, I don't know. It's just, I think people see that. They watch other people complaining about the lobbies. They go, okay, well, they rug pulled that. Like everything they say, people are thinking the opposite right now. Like,
yeah, and even when they are telling the truth, it's hard to discern when.
Even this statement, like, okay, how many times are we going to get a message from the Call of Duty team, and then there's absolutely no changes that are actually what people want?
Yeah, I want to go through this with you and get and discuss it if you're down. The
blog.
Yeah. So the statement they put out, they go, first of all, it's very ominous, right? They go, a message from the Call of Duty team.
Yeah.
But they go, never a good start. First off, thank you for all the feedback we've received over the last few months.
Can I interrupt one more time?
Yes, please.
This is usually the blog that says, we've made $1 billion.
We shattered player numbers.
Our player numbers are at a record high. The minutes played on the game have reached an all-time high. and we look forward to, giving you the blah 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 the rest of the year. So
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
already
It's
starting
always
a
been
lot
bragging
different.
about their player count. It's a very
Yes.
different tone. First of all, thank you for all the feedback we've received over the last few months. Call of Duty has enjoyed long-standing success because of all of you, a passionate community that demands excellence and deserves nothing less. We also know that for some of you, the franchise has not met your expectations fully. To be very clear, we know what you expect, and rest assured, we will deliver and over-deliver on those expectations as we move forward. So, my thing with this part of the statement is like, do you know what we expect? Do you know
Uh,
what I mean? Like,
I
what do you mean by that?
That's what I'm saying. Their wording is always to kind of like, no matter who reads it, they get kind of excited. It's the minimal considered on SBMM. It's like the wording is so
Vague.
lawyerish that they just know that they cover their butts no matter what.
Yeah. It's like, for me, what's weird is that it's like, we also know that some of you, the franchise has not met your expectations fully. To be very clear, we know what we know what you expect. I'm like, okay, so why did you not deliver?
Yeah.
And then they go, we promise we will deliver and over deliver on those expectations as we move forward, meaning they admit that they haven't now. With respect to Black Ops 7, we set our sights to deliver. Oh my God. With respect to Black Ops 7, let this sink in. We set our sights to deliver a spiritual successor to Black Ops 2. And the studios have poured their passion into making a great game that all of us are very proud of. But it's one thing for us to say it, and more importantly, it's up to you to try it and judge for yourselves. I don't know what your thoughts are on that statement, but
Yeah.
again,
I mean,
invoking the name, the holy name of Black Ops 2 so frivolously,
yeah. I
is
mean,
it's a mistake.
it's a mistake. I mean, it just goes back. It shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have. They sold this game as being a Black Ops 2 successor. That's why it sold
Yeah.
the money that it did. I honestly, I'm thinking back to maybe that's what I was going to say. Like, think back to the changes they made for this game, and if they wouldn't have, like, imagine if skill based would have been in the game at launch. Imagine if they didn't listen with I guess zombie stuff and I
No
don't know.
cursed mode.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of just examples now. I can't think of them. My brain went kapush, but yeah, like, this thing would have been even more dead than it is.
It feels like they I'll get to this at the end of the statement, but it feels like they tried to do the thing again, which I'll talk about, but they got caught with their pants down this time and
Yeah.
are apologizing for it. But okay, they say, so as it relates to Black Ops 7 and the future of Call of Duty, here's some important notes. They go, you have the opportunity to play Black Ops 7 for free, right? They're making it for a free week. Honestly, to me, to me, that's not that surprising. And it's also not the first time they've done this. They've made the game free before
Yeah.
to like people to try. So it's not that crazy. Even when the game is doing well, I don't think this really means anything. So it's kind of a moot point for me. But they go, we are committed to unprecedented seasonal support. Your continuing feedback will help shape our seasonal updates over the coming months. Season 1 is the largest, they always do this, the largest live season ever, and we're just getting started. We won't rest until Black Ops 7 earns its place as one of the best Black Ops games we've ever made. Couple things there. To me, I'm fired up today. I'm sorry if I'm talking a lot, but
I
am fired up. They say, your feedback will help shape our seasonal updates over the coming months. First of all, isn't it not the case that for the most part, they have a couple of seasons in advance already, like pre-planned and, pre-packaged, ready to go? They have an idea of what they're doing. Like, what are they going to do based off our feedback? It's not like they can fundamentally like flip the table over and try something completely different. Even if that's what we wanted, it's like, I don't know what they're planning on doing in terms of recovery from our feedback. That seems strange because it feels like seasons already go ahead for like at least 6 months, if not more.
Yeah.
But the other thing is they go, season 1 is our largest live season ever, and we're just getting started. Is that technically true? And if it is, it's, to me, it's, and from a zombies perspective, it's done through like, not underhanded, but kind of like cheap methods. they can claim it's the largest season ever, but a lot of what season 1 is for zombies is them repackaging content that was already in the old game. So for example, they brought back, Frost Blast. They bring the Mr. Peaks field upgrade or Tesla Storm, whatever it is. It's these things that were already in BO6, which were already in Cold War by the time they drip fed them to BO6.
Yeah.
That they're adding these things that aren't new, but they're new in the context of BO7, so they can claim it's the biggest season ever when all the content is technically recycled. And so that aside, I don't know if that's the case for multiplayer Warzone or whatever.
I mean, honestly, Warzone's still they're still playing Verdansk. They added a new POI to Verdansk. It's like,
did they?
New POI. Surprisingly, that actually went over pretty well. Like the integration,
that's good.
It's been really bad. But I don't play Warzone anymore. Like I genuinely tried the new map Haven's Hollow like one or two times. There's just people with no jobs on Warzone. Like, just being honest, like that is the Warzone crowd now. If you're still playing Warzone over Arc Raiders and Battle and RedSec right now, it would actually surprise me, in my opinion. Like, if you're still playing Warzone, it maybe because it's easy, but even like I said, offline, like my buddies, hop on RedSec. Like, we're playing that. I don't play when they play multiplayer because I'm not the biggest Battlefield multiplayer fan, but the RedSec has been super enjoyable. Like the flame, the fire coming in, the gun leveling up. It's not very based around get a loadout right away.
Get a loadout.
Yeah.
Not to get on this aside, is RedSec like performing well for people content wise?
No.
Like, is it as really?
No, because I thought about dabbling in that when I had a bunch of videos in a row where I was like, I'm not sure what to do. But Battlefield just seems like a game where it's just like a lot of people play it, but maybe because the crowd is older, they don't really consume
they don't watch it as much
content. Yeah, like I don't know how to describe that, but I feel like people that are older consume Call of Duty content. Like I got a lot of people in my COD comments that are like, "Hey man, I'm 35 and love your videos," but it's like Battlefield, it's like the meme is real. The battle dads, like they're just hopping on, playing a couple games, getting off, and that's that.
That's interesting to me. I think that warrants further investigation just for my own curiosity of why like it is fun and it has a lot of passionate players obviously, but if it's not doing well like video wise, that is something to explore. But sorry, not to get off on that tangent.
No, you're good.
They also said the other thing was, I went over why I think them calling it the largest seasons ever are kind of misleading. But then they go, we won't rest until Black Ops 7 earns its place as one of the best Black Ops games we've ever made.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I don't think it's one of their, what they say, the best one? One of the best?
They said we won't rest until Black Ops 7 earns its place as one of the best Black Ops games we've ever made.
I mean, I think it could actually happen. It doesn't matter though, because the community sentiment towards this game is already in the dumps. Like it probably is going to be an IW situation, I think, for a lot of people, where if Infinite Warfare, y'all know I was on the crowd of disliking the trailer, tired of jetpacks, wanted to go back to boots on the ground. But anybody that played that game for the whole year and played it and blah 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 blah, they always say great Call of Duty. And so I think BO7 is the only problem is with BO7, there's one bad link, and that's the campaign. Because like IW had great zombies, great campaign, multiplayer. It just depends on if you were tired of jetpacks or not. I
completely agree. Yeah,
but like
completely agree.
That package was good. This is like zombies.
You've got one really rotten core
really
in there,
rotten, and then zombies. You're like, all right, like pretty solid, and then multiplayer pretty solid, but I'm not sure about the movement and the bouncing. But yeah, it's like, it sure could be a great Call of Duty, but I actually will say this. I do think come March, April, whenever they release Blackout and maybe have a bunch of content with like the old BO2 maps, I do think people will give it a shot after playing Battlefield for 6 months and Arc Raiders for 6 months. They'll go, oh,
Sure.
let me see what COD put out this year. It's $30 to go buy it, or it's Game Pass or some sort of promo.
Sure.
And I think it might have a little uptick, but that's only because the player base has been so low. Like, if that makes sense.
No, there's an interesting thing I wanted to ask you is like, so I've been thinking a lot about, because I play a lot of like Night Rain and, you know, Elden Ring from Software games. I've been thinking about the fact that those games, like COD in a certain way, very ever rarely go on sale.
Yeah.
And also, like Night Rain is still doing paid DLC, which isn't the craziest thing in the gaming industry right now, but obviously in the era of live service, it is less common. But I've been thinking about like the value proposition of making a paid game. And what I came to the conclusion with Call of Duty, you can tell me if you think I'm right or wrong about this, but I'm like, I think the problem is that Call of Duty wants to sell themselves as a $70 premium experience while also having the monetization model of a free-to-play game. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're trying to have it both ways where like Night Rain, for example, it's a paid game and it's paid DLC. But there's nothing in-game monetization wise at all. There's no microtransactions. You can't buy anything for real money. And that's fine because you pay the price of admission. Call of Duty wants to have that premium upfront price, but they also want to have the monetization model of a free-to-play game, which I think is actually causing a lot of their issues.
I
don't know why I hadn't like connected that before.
That is the issue. I said this in another video the other day. I don't know what I was talking about. I think I was reading this blog for my video, and I literally said, Arc Raiders, like you have to find what, if you want to have your free to play style content after the fact, you either go free to play or you have to drop your price. You cannot be charging 70. I genuinely think if this game would have been 35 off the rip, it would have done better. And I always go back to this example. NBA Live and NBA 2K. There'll be 3 people in the audience that knows what's going on here, but NBA Live used to be the NBA game. Every year, $50 back when games were $50, dominated.
Yeah.
And 2K came out and they put out a couple games, 2K1, 2K2, 2K3 maybe, or 2K4. They did like 3 or 4, and they created their little audience, like a little niche audience. And then I think 2K5, they with Ben Wallace on the cover, if anybody wants to know, they dropped their game to $20. And they released it for $20, and NBA Live just kept doing 50, and they kept going, we're the greatest of all time. Nobody's going to buy this, but people gave 2K a chance because it was $20. And it reminds me of this Arc Raiders thing where it's like people gave Arc Raiders a shot because it's $40 and it looks fun, it looks cool, casual, and NBA Live is now no longer a video game. They don't even make NBA Live anymore, and 2K. Now 2K's just gotten just as bad as NBA Live.
Sure.
Now they sell VC like it's candy, but how they broke in is they charged less, and they did better work, and I think that's what Arc Raiders is doing. Battlefield, I think, is doing better work, but I also think part of their win this year, and this might get me in trouble with some Battlefield people, is solely because they had not made a game in 4 years. On top of that, their last good game was 10 years ago with Battlefield 1. So I will say this till I'm blue in the face. If Call of Duty took off 5 to 10 years and dropped the COD, it would be one of the, like, not GTA level, but I think it would be very, very, like, holy
It'd be exciting
crap.
at least. Yeah.
So, like,
if COD disappeared for 10 years and the next COD drops when I'm 37, I'd be like, holy, we're back.
You know what? it kind of reminds me of MW19 because everybody stopped playing during AW because of the jetpacks. Maybe before that with Ghosts. BO2 or MW2 or MW3, I'm sorry, were a lot of people's last COD for a long time. 6-7 years. And then didn't mean to do that. I've been doing that a lot lately. And
in the brain now.
MW19 comes out of nowhere. Awesome reveal trailer, reboots the franchise. It's recognizable. And look what that
But
franchise
it also
did.
went in a new direction, and that's the thing. Is like as much
Agreed.
as crap people give Modern Warfare 2019, in my eyes, yeah, sure, it was like nostalgia, not nostalgia bait. That's a cheap way to describe what it was. It was obviously like, hey guys, it is Modern Warfare again, but they didn't just make COD 4 again, and that's
Right.
what I gave it. They didn't try to remake that campaign. They didn't try to like rely on the same tropes. They pushed in a new direction, which, you can criticize that new direction all you want, but it was new. Right now, they're just regurgitating the same comfortable slop that they've done since that point.
Yeah.
And, they are being undercut by these other games. The last, we can, get the last part of the statement here. That seasonal support thing's crazy, but they go, this is the big thing that I want to talk about. They say, our strategy going forward is changing. We will no longer do back-to-back releases of Modern Warfare or Black Ops games. The reasons are many, but the main one is to ensure we provide an absolutely unique experience each and every year. We will drive innovation that is meaningful, not incremental. While we aren't sharing those plans today, we look forward to doing so when the time is right. To be clear, the future of Call of Duty is very strong, and we believe our best days are ahead of us given the depth and talent of our development teams. We have been building the next era of Call of Duty, and it will deliver precisely on what you want, along with some surprises that push the franchise and genre forward. We look forward to welcoming you in, listening to you, and moving forward together. Does that not read like a funeral eulogy?
Yeah, it does.
Like,
but you know what?
It's so...
We might need that again. We might need that reset.
We need a death before we can have a rebirth.
Yeah, this and that's what I struggled with my video yesterday talking about. Or no, it's today's. I did it yesterday, but we talked about this a little bit offline. It's like, how do you balance wanting to see Call of Duty be great again, but at the same time, like you want to play
needing it to die, so it
but
can be
you need
reborn.
it to die at the same time. It's like, how as a creator do you balance that? If I'm just a normal person, I ain't playing Black Ops 7. I'm not going to buy it. I don't care. I'll just go back and play MW3. But it's like, how do you... I obviously want to play the new game. Even if I wasn't... I mean, I'm just a COD fanboy, and I've told plenty of people that. Everybody kind of knows.
Sure.
But no matter what, I get excited for the new Call of Duty. It is what it is. I have good memories with the game, and I think there's been a lot of good games in the mix, even though there's some bad ones. You're not going to go 25 for 25. You're just never going to do that. Michael Jordan didn't go perfect from the free throw line. So it's like, I understand there's going to be some bad ones, but I feel like lately it's just been bad. Like, not complete packages.
And not that there aren't, good things worth recognizing, because again, we're being very critical right now because I think it's deserved, but we could talk about zombies and stuff. Like, for me, it's been pretty good, and I like it in a very similar way that I liked BO6 zombies, which is quite a lot. However, clearly their strategy of their approach is not working, and this is the thing I was alluding to earlier, that they tried to do again but got caught with their pants down. I think we talked about it on the podcast, and I definitely talked about it in an old review I did a couple years ago, where the red flag started to go off after we got MW3 right after MW2.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wait a second. I think they're like double dipping games, and that's not going to go well. They got caught double dipping again.
Yeah, they were trying to do it.
Yeah. They got caught double dipping. They were trying to do it again, but now they've been called out for it and now have to apologize when they pulled that over on us with MW2 and MW3 already. And I think it's funny to go, first of all, we will no longer do back-to-back releases of Modern Warfare or Black Ops games, which that wording seems to imply to me that they're still interested in making those two subgenres, which I think is a mistake.
Yeah.
I think they need to be done with Black Ops. Do you think they need to be done with Modern Warfare after MW4?
I already said this in another video. I said Modern Warfare if they have not done all their marketing, they should change the title of this game. I know it's supposed to be Modern Warfare 4. Think of something else.
I think if they're still obviously like resting on the laurels of the characters like Price and that whole story, I think they can get away with calling it MW4 one last
One
time.
more time,
But after
yeah.
this point, again, we need a death before we can have a rebirth. I think they really need to retire Black Ops, but it doesn't seem like that's
Yeah.
what they want to do. They
Well,
can milk the cow a little longer.
I was gonna say that doesn't say they're never coming back. That blog does not say no longer going to release MW and Black Ops games because it feels like people are burnt out. It just says we'll no longer do them back to back. So it could just be just like what they did back in 2010,
they
where
just, we're going
Black Ops
every
Modern
other
Warfare,
year
Black
again.
Ops Modern Warfare, and it's like so even then at the end you're like, are they actually learning? Or are they like they realistically should do I know it wasn't the greatest years for Call of Duty, but I will give them this. When it was Infinite Warfare, Black Ops, what was it? Infinite Warfare, World War II, and Black Ops 4.
Yeah.
At least they kind of felt like they all felt different. Like if you look back at those games,
dramatically different,
they are
man.
dramatically
IW
different.
to MW or to World War II to BO4 are, again, that's what I'm talking about. Even if they don't all work individually the best, they're all so different that, and as well as I do, those games have cult followings now.
Yeah.
The people that have absolute love for IW, for zombies, or for whatever, that exists. The people that have a love for World War II for some reason love that game. There's even BO4 diehards out there. There's redeeming qualities about BO4, I agree, but I'm not diehard about it. But somebody is. Somebody is.
Yeah.
And they were made for somebody. These new games, because they're made for everybody, aren't working. And this is, what concerns me about their new strategy is they haven't promised. This is what would make me hopeful. If they went, hey guys, you know what? Here at a big old Activision, we're actually going to be promoting more division between the studios instead of more unifying them. Which, it sounds really like wholesome and ethical, and we're bringing all these studios together to make this one big thing that's amazing. But I'm like, in my opinion, and I think a lot of fans of Call of Duty, we think y'all do your best work when it's a small group of nerds
from each other.
in their little corner trying to outdo each other.
Yeah.
When Treyarch is like beefing with IW because they want to make the better game, that's when they make their best work. Not when everyone's in the kitchen at the same time trying to throw in their little thing of what they think the game should be. Like, I would encourage the games to be more separate now than ever. Like, but
I agree. I think that was the biggest thing that we've mentioned this 100 times, but that was why people liked the franchise that they liked. I was a Black Ops guy back in the day. My buddy was a Modern Warfare. We liked the way they played differently. And maybe
we talked about them. That's why the community was alive.
And that's the thing too, is like this new engine, this unified engine, they're like, I think they're trying to make everything feel like Call of Duty is not CS:GO. It's not the same game every single year with, I guess, changes to the store. Call of Duty is a different game every single year, and that's what made it what it is. Yes, we've talked about doing the free-to-play model where you have the same engine and you do a bunch of stuff. I don't see them probably ever doing that unless it got really bad. But I think part of the enjoyment is we get a new COD every year, and we don't know what it's going to be. And all of that has lost the newness, the Christmas feeling is gone with these, because you're like, oh, it's another Modern Warfare, it's another Black Ops. It's 4 years in a row of the same thing. Also, while the games feel the same, and I forgot to mention this earlier, you still mantle like you did. They brought in that Modern Warfare 2 mantle, the new Modern Warfare 2, that like ledge get up, and that's still in Black Ops 7. And it's like, I feel like even if the engine was similar in COD 4 through Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 3, those little things felt different within the game. The dolphin dive felt different than the drop shot in Modern Warfare. And so now everything just feels similar. So you have the fatigue of the games, you have the underbelly of the game feeling the same. The menus look the same. They just changed the tint of the color.
They even said, hey, do you want to import last year's settings?
They don't even
like, what?
You don't even do that anymore. You just hit yes. So with all that to say, it's just like there is deeper issues here, and that's what I still say why it needs a complete reboot. MW19, that's what it did, despite you hating it or you loving it. It felt like it just erased everything. It erased the last 10
that's
years
why
of COD.
That's why we refer to those eras as like classic and modern.
Yes, it started
That's
another
why,
era.
because that's where the schism was. That's where like the fracture was. Soon as that period between BO4 and Modern Warfare, it's like that was the old, this is the new. Like there was a very clear cut break.
Yep.
Where I don't know if they're planning on doing that again. They're clearly not doing it with Modern Warfare 4 because on name alone, it is the fourth iteration of that.
The only thing that I would say is if somehow we talked about this too, is like it's a different story. Like we go way out of the way. The characters don't matter anymore that we're in a different conflict. And then with it being PS5 only, Xbox Series S only, or X, whatever it is, does that kind of start a new era? You know what I mean? Because there won't be on PS4, and they're still making these games for older generations.
I don't think it's as dramatic as like Modern Warfare 2019. I agree. I think it's absurd that they're still making games on the PS4. That is wild. But also at the same time, it's not as much of a technological jump between the PS3 and 4, so I can understand why they would do it. But it is I don't know if you're Activision. I don't even know what I would do at this point. Like because.
Start over.
I mean, that's the only way I think forward. But
you know what I said?
Did you go to Treyarch this year? Or
No, I've never been to Treyarch.
I was gonna say, if you walk in the building, man, and I showed videos, when I went this year, and I've posted clips of the lobby. When you walk in, there's a big, giant, entire wall of the BO1 like art, right?
Yeah,
that is what defines that building, and I'm like. Treyarch, as much as it's painful, I think the only way forward for them is basically to start over, to rip that Black Ops 1 thing off the wall and start new. Because them resting on the laurels of Black Ops at this point is not helpful.
Yeah.
And that's scary, obviously. They really don't know another way of life other than making Black Ops at this point. But it's like
that's another thing too. You're right. It's like they've never made a game that didn't involve Woods or Mason or somebody in the tie of that. Not that it has anything to do with the rest of the thing, but they've
never made a Black Ops game since, I'm sorry, they've never not made a Black Ops game since it started.
Yep.
Which at this point is going on 16 years since the original game.
And you can see why people leave too, like from studios. I mean, I have to leave in the next couple minutes, but I want to talk about how next episode I want to talk about how these big studio guys are leaving and going elsewhere, and like all of a sudden and I'll mention one quickly, is the Ted Timmons, who was in charge of Raven Software Warzone, went to Fortnite and is just implementing all these crazy new ideas. So it seems like he was getting held back big time at Call of Duty. And Fortnite was like, hey, man, go have fun. And so, I don't know. I just think there's a lot that needs to happen.
I think there will probably be quite a bit of studio shakeup in the next maybe few years. And if, again, what they said in this last part of the apology or whatever it is like, we're looking forward to building the next era of Call of Duty. So the thing that piques my interest is like, are we going to have another fracture, right? Are we going to have that another schism moment where BO4 to Modern Warfare 2019, the start of the new era, a true start of the new era, as I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
It's like, are they going to do that again? Or are they going to do, hey guys, Modern Warfare 4, but we have a Sledgehammer game. After that, Black Ops 8, It
wouldn't surprise me, but I can't imagine them not seeing the writing on the wall here. But again, I think this is I think it's a good thing, despite enjoying myself with Black Ops 7 multiplayer for a couple rounds here and there.
I'm enjoying zombies for what it's worth for the most part. It's
I just think there has to be some sort of, you have to bring people back.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is like my issues really are not at like surface level gameplay stuff at the moment. It's like everything infesting the game is all these deeper issues that we're talking about.
Yep.
That's what's like preventing it from being truly amazing. But
Yep.
it is I think this is a long overdue discussion for us, so I'm
Yeah.
glad we got to talk about it. I'm glad y'all, were on our ass about doing a podcast.
Yeah, I got a bunch of comments. But it's snowing here in Maryland. I don't know if it's snowing where you're at.
Yeah, I'm getting snow too. We had a huge storm last night.
And my Chipotle is sitting outside right now. So
okay, we should probably go get that then.
So everybody, thanks for letting us rant. That concludes what is it, 30, 48, 47?
48.
So
thank you, lads.
I mean, I'm trying to tell you that we're gonna keep these consistent, but I feel like every time I say that, we go away for a month. And most of the time it's like I just don't feel like being negative about COD, but
yeah, and it's like, for the most part, I don't want to speak for you, but we would like to focus our energy on like pivoting our personal content to something more enjoyable and sustainable, and then doing a podcast about why COD sucks every day would be
miserable.
Frankly exhausting.
Yeah,
and not fun. But I'm glad we did this one because I wanted to talk to you and see how you feel and get this off my chest. Sorry if I talked a lot this podcast,
no,
but
I love it.
I was very fired up.
No, he texted me, guys, and said, I gotta say a lot. And I said, please say it all.
I just feel strongly about this stuff.
Yeah.
And I want COD to do well. And it's like that is where a lot of this comes from, this frustration, because it can be so good, but for reasons we talked about for the last hour and a half or whatever, is like it's not.
Yeah.
But anyways, maybe we'll do one soon if there's anything big.
Yeah, we'll do another one because we need to talk about the MW4 stuff and studio stuff, and I'm sure there's going to be news here soon. I think we're going to get a lot of news this year. I think a lot of news.
Because they want to they're doing the Vanguard thing. They're shoving it under the rug and like, hey, here's the new thing.
Sadly, I think Black Ops 7 will get a bunch of good content, 1 to 2, 3 seasons, and then I think we're going to be early MW4 hype, like March.
Yeah, expect the news to break early next year.
Yep. All right, everybody. Well, hey, make sure you subscribe to both of our channels because we got some new stuff coming your way, and make sure you follow us on social media. I'm going to go get my Chipotle. Chop, anything else?
That's it for me, bro. Thank you guys for, still caring about this podcast a lot. It just makes me happy to see people like, hey, man, where's the next Going Dark? Because to me, it means like this podcast resonates with some of y'all out there, and that feels good. So I'm actually going to go get to work right now on my big Black Ops 7 review, the review. So yeah, I'm quite fired up about this. So I'm going to get to it.
All right, bro. Well, hey, guys, everybody, we'll see you in the next one, which we're going to try for it to be next week. That's my goal.
Yeah, let's go for one next week.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, boys. Bye.
Have a good one, guys.